You can view the video of this podcast on Jazz Cabbage's YouTube or Facebook pages.
Jazz Cabbage Cafe. I'm Rick Thompson, Jamie Lowell's here, Colin MacDougall, Shelly Smith, and Debra Young in studio from Apothecare.
All right, now we've started.
Yes.
All right, so we're at Apothecare, as Rick just said. We're trying not to have bad sound problems when we're off site like we did last week. This is a little bit better. And I think everybody should be able to see everybody. So that's good.
Different screens too.
So Apothecare, and Jim's going to be joining us a little bit, but he was here before.
Yeah.
Is this sounding with an echo, or is it?
I'm just hearing you in real life, so.
Can you hear? Okay, Rick.
I can usually not hear anything anyway. That's just the way things are. So
I'm getting the echo. So is that just me, or
I'm not getting it out.
Okay, good. So Apothecare is a place that's vertically integrated, and they rely on organic standards for growing, which of course, like in the caregiver world and the small garden world, that's the standards. So usually where people end up and find the best results and the most philosophically sound approach to growing cannabis. And these guys are doing it on a commercial level. That's really cool. And wait a second. Lo and behold, I didn't expect this to happen this early. Just getting kicked off, just figuring stuff out, and John Sinclair himself, the legendary.
Hi, John. How are you?
No mask. Fuck a mask. From Zoom.
Oh, no way.
Yes, you can be without a mask on Zoom. Cool.
Happy 420, John.
Happy 420,
Hey,
sir.
Rick. Jamie. Colin.
Yeah.
Is that Debra?
That's me.
Is that you?
That's me.
Oh yeah, baby.
You don't recognize me with the mask.
Yep,
see?
we're all here in Ann Arbor. We're in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, we're in Ann
I
Arbor.
recognize your weed sign. Jamie, how many places are you at?
We're at Apothecare in Ann Arbor.
Yeah. Everybody here loves you, John. We're talking about who are the Hall of Famers, and John Sinclair, the very first name that comes up.
I'm at the Vehicle City Social Club in Flint, Michigan.
How's it going
Oh,
there?
yeah.
Very cool.
Floor 20.
They say hi to jobs for us.
I do
Yeah,
install this
of course,
stuff, John.
I know Vehicle City today.
My hometown, Flint, Michigan.
Yep.
The cutting edge of marijuana legalization in the United States. Right here is the top place.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Better than Vehicle City.
I don't know what you guys are doing in Ann Arbor. We can smoke joints here.
Yeah, we're stuck. We gotta go out to the parking lot.
John Sinclair wins again. Yep.
We're going to hopefully get a check-in from Adam, middle of the ocean before too long.
You know, Adam's out on that fishing trip. Now I'm getting a big echo. Now I'm getting a big echo.
Oh, John, I can barely see your eyes, baby. What's going on?
Oh,
I'm just here celebrating 420.
There we go.
Vehicle City.
Vehicle City's got a contest that they're announcing the winners for. Plus, they have all kinds of stuff going on up there, Vehicle City, don't they?
They're going to have a judgment later today, but I'm beyond all that. It's all good to me.
Now, have you been partaking in the cannabis yourself today, John?
Hey, what?
Have you been using cannabis?
Can't hear you.
It doesn't matter at this moment.
Yeah, Jamie asked a question he already knew the answer to. He said, have you been smoking cannabis yet?
Yeah. Smoking cannabis.
It was rhetorical and not too exciting.
We all knew the answer too. Yeah, it was kind of a silly question, but whatever. Yes. Jamie's that guy.
Are you at the shop too? Are you at the shop too?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all here.
Colin.
Colin is at the shop too.
Debra too?
We're all together.
Colin MacDougall.
It's an honor to have John.
And Shelly Smith, Deb, and Rick and myself are in the room right now. gonna be coming soon.
Yep.
The speaker cuts out on me.
Yeah, Jamie should scoot closer to the microphone.
Do that.
It's better than you sit way over there. All right, so John was asking you, he couldn't hear you. Say something to John, see if you can hear it.
Hey, John. You still with us?
Jamie.
Hey, man, you still with us?
He's frozen on.
There he is.
This is really a weird experience.
John.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
You're the same.
We're trying to work out
Yeah.
sound on our. Sorry about that.
You can't hear me anymore?
I can hear
You
you.
can hear me?
We hear you just fine. We're worried that you're not hearing us very well. Which may be.
Well, hopefully it's all good. John, what are you doing besides sitting around smoking pot, which is the obvious thing, and nobody would ever ask you that in seriousness. What else is going on in the city?
In Vehicle City, they're having a 420 party. And they're going to judge some weed later.
Any music or anything?
It's an MMR event.
And Ben is right there. Is Ben right there?
Your boy Ben Horner.
Yeah. Let's say happy 420 to Ben.
There
There.
he is now.
Hey, Ben, is this your event over there? Okay.
It's his event.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that's
a good
awesome.
reason to be in Ann Arbor.
It's good to see you out and about, John. That's very cool. Out celebrating today.
I'm not out very often.
Yeah.
I've been in quarantine for a year and a half.
What did you say?
He said he's been in a quarantine for a year and a half.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I broke my shoulder in October of 2019.
Yeah. That's why Jamie was so excited to see you out and about. It's good to see you.
Now, I remember when we
Surgery.
were on after the first day of legalization. That was pretty rough because you were still recovering. All that.
And you all sounded terrible.
Yes, we know. We do sound terrible. Other than me. I'm always good, but everybody else sounds terrible.
What's wrong with people? What do they need?
Sorry, John.
We have one microphone, and that one microphone is being shared by everybody.
And it sounds worse than you speaking to this.
Good.
We can't do anything right. That's why we were hoping that you could set the pace for the show for us.
Stoned lives matter.
Yes. Stoner lives matter.
Picking up on the issue here.
That's right. So terrible.
Hey,
At
John.
least they aren't shooting us.
Yes. Good point.
So, hey, we appreciate you checking in, man. We don't need to take up your whole day. I know you're part of the 420 celebration over there and maybe even performing. To get that far, but.
I think my 420 radio show.
Okay. And you're at what? How many broadcasts now?
I'm just about to make my 420 radio show with another hour installment of reefer songs. One of my listeners named Paul sent me 5,000 reefer songs.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I play hours every few minutes. Yeah. 5,000.
That's a lot.
I'm up
So
to
right now, you might get to
1970.
listen to them all.
Jimmy, take your phone off.
Started in 1920. I'm up to 1970
What?
now.
Take your phone off mute. Try it.
It is on mute.
No, you are muted.
Oh, off of mute.
Right. Now, speak.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
I'm not making it yet. You can't hear it yet. It's not made yet.
Jamie,
I'm
that's
supposed to make it here at the Vehicle City.
Hey, can you hear me better now? We're trying to still work this out over here.
I didn't hear you.
Why don't we have feedback?
What'd you say?
Just trying to see if you can hear me any better when we try like this.
I can't hear nothing now. No sound. Sound?
We're probably not going to win here.
What you laughing about, Debra?
That's not me. That's Shelly laughing.
I'm laughing at all the dog. Laughing at our tech.
From anywhere near me.
Do you have that?
It's
Anyway, man.
Let me say goodbye and go to work.
Yeah. Once you get back to your celebration and stuff like that, we really appreciate you checking in. You are the Hall of Famer. No question about it. We're glad to see you out and about. Hope that Ben in the event there goes really well, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Happy 420, John.
Happy 420, man.
Love you, John. Bye.
See ya.
See you, man.
John's still there? I still see you, John.
Yeah, there you go. We'll communicate better in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But this is better than last. We can feel good about that.
All right.
Okay.
I wasn't going to turn my back on John, but I'll turn my back.
I'm not sure that, yeah. So later on today, for all of us Jazz Cabbage viewers, we've got that special report coming in from Florida and the 420 Convets, right? 420 Convets fishing tournament.
To be a big surprise.
There's a bunch of major people involved with this and that trip that we'll get to see a little bit. I saw a little bit of it earlier, actually, live on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Too.
And Adam and/or Stacy's going to be checking in.
Fantastic. I saw from Robert Platzorn's post this morning that it might be a little rainy.
It was kind of raining a little bit when I saw the broadcast, but everybody was having a great time. I think
they
some of
suggest
those people were in prison for 25, 27 years
Yeah.
and shit like that. I'm sure they're still okay.
Where is it happening?
Just like old times, some candy has shown up. Those look like those peach
I know.
No,
Peach rings.
rings.
Yeah, that's right. Jazz Cabbage. We're having a Cave Radio Broadcasting Center flashback. Deb used to supply these amazing treats during our in-studio broadcasts, and we've missed that now for a year and a half. See, Colin? Colin's advertising the treats right now. Yes.
I haven't had them in
Those
like
are
8
super
years.
good. Super good cookies.
Hey.
Yes.
I've had two of these.
Behold the hole.
Oh, no.
I've never had that in Thai
We sprayed Jimmy down with it.
I don't think it will. So Adam, of course, in the discussion for those who've been around for several decades pushing reform issues. Right in Ann Arbor here, though, we have a bit of a discussion, and Denny Hayes, one of the lawyers involved originally with John, and has stayed on to do a lot of work.
Scoot closer to the microphone. Yep.
I'm trying to hear at the same time.
Yeah. But you can see the volume indicator here on my screen, which shows that it is recording sound and sending it out. But stronger is better.
And so I didn't get to it yet. Actually, John came on. It was so cool to hear from John.
Right.
But I just kind of wish we were better accommodating for it. But what the hell? It's 420, and we're all kind of having a good time. And just the fact that John even comes on for a second is a pretty cool part of the celebration.
Always fun when John's around.
And one of the things that this particular place wants to do here is give some homage to John in some ways.
Are we going to have Anthony coming on later on to talk to us about Apothecare?
As far as I know, he's also working at the same time.
Well, he stuck his nose in earlier, but we weren't broadcasting yet. But I'm sure during the 2 hours he'll make an appearance.
Pretty good. And then also, like, I didn't get to it yet, but I attended the funeral for Marvin today. We did a kind of a broadcast last night and had people on talking about his life. And, Friday night he passed away and word got out. There's been some discussion about it, and they are at the Psychedelic Shack right now. And in fact, Richard Clement or somebody may check in from over there too while we're broadcasting. But talk about Hall of Famers, just in that small grouping. Many people were. Van Abel was there, Dr. Whitty was there, Gail was there, and it was not a typical funeral. I left there kind of feeling good and energized and happy. I've never left such a ceremony or something feeling like that before, but they designed it like that.
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook, and it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Just how much music was being played, and just how he was going to be buried in it's like a Jewish cemetery where it's like free growth of everything, and there's gonna be like wildflowers.
On top of
It's
it.
called the Green Cemetery. There's only 2 of them in the country, and that's one of them.
Okay.
That's special. That's very
It's
special.
inside, it's actually encapsulated into a Jewish cemetery that's been around forever. So this is a new portion of it that they've done that way. But Jewish burials are pretty environmental anyway, because we don't use big caskets. It's supposed to just be in a shroud.
Yeah.
So the basic wooden casket wasn't fancy, but it looked good, it looked clean and sharp, it was pretty basic.
A basic pine casket is what they have to use in the US because they won't let you use a shroud.
Yeah.
There's no nails, so it's pretty basic and it's fast and it's,
And everybody took turns putting a shovel hole
yeah, you throw the dirt in.
in there.
Wow.
That was interesting to participate in.
That sounds
And
much
then-
better.
Yep. And it
Well,
was,
normally they bury within 24 hours, but they bury like 3 days. But it's normally.
yeah, it's Shabbat, as you informed us.
Shabbat, but he should have been buried on Sunday.
Don't
And
point
then
your
there
face.
was,
Jamie, microphone's here.
okay, and then there was, getting people in from all over the place, including his daughter.
But
who doesn't
normally
live in
they
town
don't
and
even
stuff
do
like
that, even if like your kids are somewhere else, they still bury you 24 hours.
I guess they took a little bit of liberty,
Yeah, before the next sunrise, I've heard.
but there were rabbis there, the whole thing, and
Well,
they,
yeah, it was a traditional
yeah.
Jewish burial. So they did the Kaddish and the whole bit.
And just like the broadcast last night, many people had some pretty funny / interesting stories.
That broadcast last night was really funny.
The broadcast last night he's referring to as Medical Mondays, which you can find that broadcast
Or
from
no,
April
it was,
19th.
There was a Jazz Cabbage Cafe
Yeah.
broadcast.
Or Jazz Cabbage Cafe, my apologies,
Yeah, we
yeah.
got a special broadcast from Marvin, but
Yeah.
Medical
yeah.
Mondays was pretty cool last night with Pony Boy and Los Marijuanos, but
Talked about Jack Herrera and his death.
yeah.
But yes, Jazz Cabbage Cafe, special Monday night broadcast from 6 to 7, from 7 to 8, rather.
And Dr. Whitty and Gail, Mike Prince, who for the last year and a half or so has been hanging out with Marvin and getting a lot of them on video and having a lot of conversations with him.
Right.
His daughter, Molly, came on for a little bit. Greg Pulowski, and we talked about how Greg had a meeting with the mayor, about hemp in the city and some other stuff. And it didn't amount to anything at the moment, but we talked about how he never crossed paths with Marvin, how he probably never would have had that conversation or gotten that far.
And Felicia.
And Felicia came on, and she was there today too. So was Greg.
I
Small
imagine
group, but-
they were both very, very close with Marvin. Marvin had a series of communes, as they described them, over the years, where he would have a house and just let a whole bunch of people live there. And Greg was able to enjoy that a couple of times.
Can you go get Jim?
I'll go get them.
Council, go get Jim. Slay.
It is approaching 420,
Awesome.
on 420, which is going to be pretty special. Yeah.
So special.
420, so I might go in the parking lot,
I know.
leave you guys up here.
Yeah.
Eek.
Yep, we are in a non-smoking area. As John Sinclair laughingly held over our heads, we are in a non-smoking building right now. So
I did feel like
Silly.
possibly going down to the car.
I think
yeah,
we should
you
just
can't
go
turn
on
a
break.
2-hour broadcast.
We used to
man.
go on break, why don't we go on break?
Responsibility.
Yeah, this stays on the broadcast
Oh
the
my
entire
God.
time.
You're gonna broadcast from the car while you're
No,
jeeping
we
up.
took, we put
We
on a
don't need
video
to
or
do
a
that, we
song
just
or
go on
something.
break, put on the
No. Let
Put
everybody
on a
see.
video.
video and let's
Oh,
go.
you know what? We lived through it.
Jamie will do file sharing. He'll share his screen and
Just
play
lived
some
through it.
hash bash
I
videos.
know, it used to be normal for us to go on break.
It used
Sure,
to
we
be-
should have that, we'll that be worked into future awesome higher production shows.
We did used to do a 420 break every single broadcast. Shelley is
Yes,
totally
yeah.
correct with that. Yes.
Yes, we would walk outside in the parking lot.
I hear the sound of cannabis joints being shaken in a tin. Oh, it's a very seductive noise.
Let's go outside. Yeah. I mainly wanted to,
Jamie's
I didn't.
feverishly looking for a video to play. If you go on the Ann Arbor Hash Bash YouTube channel, you'll find a whole series of videos.
Oh, wow.
I put them on there. Lots of work involved, yeah. But you can choose the long one, the Ann Arbor Hash Bash one, for 4 hours.
Let's see if I can do this here. This is not like a long-term thing, but let's see if we can actually get sound and shit.
So it's just made the connection that like, I may have been him before, but he's.
Is sound?
with
No.
the farmer guy who grew up in
It's like
Flint.
it's like 6 degrees of separation
Oh,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah. Well, plus the Ann Arbor, like, when I was like at like old school in Arbor.
They tried again.
People,
All right, let's leave Jamie here trying it again while we
yeah,
slip on down.
yeah, I probably have to go because I have my last little class tonight and I'm woefully unprepared.
I find it curious that that camera up there within the ring light is out of focus. Why would it not autofocus?
We have sound now?
No, sir.
Well, we get to see our sponsors, that's.
Yeah, just leave that out.
Redemption.
There you go.
I had so much fun at Botanical Company last week. Oh my gosh. Guys.
Well, and we owe Botanical Company as we probably are gonna owe Apothecare.
A better
broadcast, so we can deal with proper equipment and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons we do get sponsors, so we're gonna be upping our game starting in May and be on a different stream and be able to handle these things.
Maybe hire a teenager who knows what he's doing, you know.
No, I
Right.
mean, the Zoom is,
do
no,
that.
no, the Zoom is just easy.
I know. Tell him.
No, he did it at my house. It's just you plug the mics in and.
We
you
decided
do it,
we're
and
going-
That's
It's
it.
like Galapagos turtle. You can't
I
teach a
know.
Galapagos turtle anything.
There
No,
is.
it's easy. There's nothing to learn. You just plug the mics in, start recording.
What, I can't hear from the description what would change for us.
Are we not?
There'd be an additional box, correct, where all the microphones
We
plug
used
into?
it at my house.
Yes.
Yeah.
We recorded onto the Zoom and the Facebook was just my laptop sitting over there.
Is this all going over live?
It was
right
just-
now?
It is going over live right now,
This is
yes.
probably-
That's
yeah.
it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like we
Let's
were
go
on
break.
Facebook.
Let's go on break.
That doesn't mean anything changes for us.
We're going on
Right
break.
now.
Well, not right
She's
now,
off.
but next.
Don't take the shoes off.
I don't think that configuration solves the echo problem.
We're going on break.
Yeah, for sure. It 100%.
420 go on break for a little smoke smoke?
That's what I'm talking about.
Jamie can't get the sound to work on the broadcast itself, so it would
So
be,
just leave it silent with the
difficult.
stuff up for 10 minutes.
I don't know, you
Put it
I don't
on.
understand, you mean I can't get the sound or for the, for those.
you tried playing videos and you couldn't
Oh,
get
for
the
the video
sound.
clip, yeah.
Struggles of the online broadcast. This one probably won't make Spotify, Alexa either.
For the next one.
Oh, I heard some noise, Jimmy. What'd you just do?
I don't know.
I heard it. I heard it. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Here.
Man, it's really smelling good.
And
What the fuck, man? Here we go.
there's the sound. Although it was super loud.
Here we go.
Keep figuring it out.
Can you figure it out?
We'll just play on a continuous loop.
It's not sharing on your screen.
No. Doesn't play in a continuous loop, but
Yeah, it's not.
we have sound. And that's what counts.
All right, so we can see either the sound or the picture, but not.
Oh, is that what just happened?
Yeah.
We
the
couldn't
sound
see
and
it.
the
We
picture.
hear the sound, but we couldn't see anything.
Yeah, so it's the, so you know, you got the
So
sound. and-
interesting.
and-
Not really.
So are we going on break?
Well, you guys can do anything you want. Go for
We're
it.
gonna try and fix
Let's
this.
go.
Jamie, you still can't play a video though,
All right,
to
come on,
entertain our
Colin.
crowd when we go.
Me and Colin and Shelly are going on break.
See ya.
So,
I never tried to play one, just I tried to play those things. We go to like,
What are you doing with your phone instead of trying to figure out our,
You look very nice.
it's probably surfing
Very
Facebook.
nice on sound.
should I take my phone with us?
I'm sorry, this is green from but you have a very nice on sound.
hey man.
What does it look like when I slide?
So
my
Jim
phone in my
Slaney's here to
back
say
pocket?
today,
It's
words
on
of
screen.
wisdom,
Just that.
step over to the camera area.
Just like you have that tattooed on your
Announce
ass, I
himself
guess.
that he's here. And also, I don't know what time those guys are gonna be calling in.
Whatever.
Go enjoy.
We're going to-
Yeah.
Go do what I cannot
Go
do.
over.
And you might want to take Jim with
There you go.
you.
Am I on now?
You are on, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
good. Can you see?
Yeah, which speaker or camera am I looking at?
This is the microphone.
Yeah.
You're on my camera here, and then you're also on the ring cam up there.
Oh, nice.
So, although the ring cam is out of focus, so I can't figure that one. But welcome to Apothecare.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I was here not too long ago.
Yep.
When we were doing a tour, getting actually some information from them, and they were a proud sponsor for this year's virtual hash bash, which is fantastic.
Right on here, that would be better.
And also one of many places where you can find in Ann Arbor where they have hash, which I'm really excited about as a hash lover of America member.
A hash-loving American.
I am. On this day.
See if you were still in the frame in there, because it'd be closer to the
This would
mic.
be much better if you sat here.
Let me sit.
Yes, the microphone's here, it'll be much closer, plus you're still in the frame with
Still in
me.
the frame, I've got it.
Right?
I see it.
So right there. So yeah.
All right, so maybe we can get back on conversation a little bit after all this shit. It doesn't sound so bad.
Have you seen their clone room that they have here too?
Not yet.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I wonder if somebody can take a camera
That's
and walk down there and kind of view it. It'd be fun.
We're hoping that Anthony or somebody will come up here and join us a little bit. We're going to talk about some other projects that they have going on here, that included. And
yeah,
we're kind of waiting around for that. But and as we wait for Adam to, or Stacy or Richard to check in. But another thing we were talking about were the people who really laid down the foundation of this movement and created the ability for those who came after to keep momentum going. And some of those people are still at it. Again, some of those people I saw today at Marvin's place and at his celebration of life, and many of the old Normal members. Melody Carr is a personal hero of mine.
Mike and Gail Whitty for sure. That two is cool.
Yeah, and I mentioned them earlier, but yeah, for
Chuck
sure.
Green.
Chuck Green was the original inspiration I had for activism, I have to say. So he's definitely in that. And now, always admired Tim in one way or another. Of course, Tim Beck, but there's so many. And when we get into this conversation and talk about it and really get into the beginning of this and what happened, it'll be interesting, but it's at some point, it's got to be too difficult to keep on coming up with names. Yeah. Our success is a reflection of a lot of people over a lot of decades.
Yep. Well, I think that's important too, because as we talked about a little bit earlier, oral tradition is important in our community. We have the internet now, but there's a lot of stories that happened before that were popular to write about. And High Times was great, but it didn't capture nearly the number of amazing scenarios that there were out there. So when we had Pony Boy on Medical Mondays last night talking about the death of Jack Herrera, that was important to capture. When we had, Richard DeLisi on shortly after he had been released the other day, that was extremely important. Leonard Peltier and his daughter and witness to the whole, his son, Chauncey, but also Gene Roach, who was a witness to the entire incident that ended up putting him in jail. Having them on and getting what they feel, say, saw, and know, getting that on camera, it's important. This is cannabis history, but it's American history. This is a significant moment, this cannabis revolution in American times. And we're fortunate to be here. Come on, stand between the two of them.
Anthony Freed just walked in.
There you go.
So definitely behind a lot of the projects and efforts and promotional stuff, community outreach type things.
Happy 420, everyone.
Happy 420.
Happy 420, Anthony.
And we were just talking about that we'd like to see some of that stuff too at some point. Maybe Jim or somebody can go down there with the phone and capture a little bit of it.
Yeah, we actually had
maybe take a couple.
Yeah, no, I'm actually looking to do something with like one of, like Ryan Mazur's programs or something to use our sales to give back to the community also.
Yeah, well, there is, I talked to Drew about that earlier. There's lots of different things that could be applied to, and there's a new nonprofit just being formed with Ryan. And it started off being a joint project with Redemption and Sons and Daughters United, and Josie Scogano he had on a couple weeks ago. And it's called GLEN, Great Lakes Expungement Network.
Yeah, I think that's great, especially on, today it's a celebratory day, but I think we have to remember where we came from on this day also. I think we have to remember the activists that came before us that made you know, what we get to enjoy possible. Definitely got to remember the John Sinclairs, the Adam Brooks, the Jack
Did you
Harris.
get to hear the perfect sounding, very interesting interview that we had with John Sinclair?
I did not. Have been running around making sure that you guys had Taco Tuesday as requested.
Well, that's more important, first of all, so that is much
So my
appreciated.
beautiful wife has prepared an authentic, organic Mexican feast for everyone. So it's next door.
With authentic Mexicans chopped up in there. Nice, good,
Yeah,
okay.
Oh, that's why Ray's not around.
We got the recipe from Jackson, Michigan, so that's.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah.
Straight from
Which
the
if
prison.
you're from Jackson, you know that there was a taco place where there was a guy arrested for chopping people up and feeding them to people.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
I
a true
did not
story.
get
True
that.
story. True story.
Oh,
That
wow.
makes it much more funny and
Yeah,
less
it
creepy.
is. I
Now
just
that
thought
you
you were
said
kind of
that.
being racist, but okay. that's
Jamie, you
fine.
can you're rolling out of the shot, man. Stay in
I'm
place.
in the shot.
Jamie actually rolls in and out of all kinds of shots.
That's right. Well, then we'll just do that. So it's much better. Okay.
So you've got a White Panther party hat on.
I do have a White Panther party hat on, and Deb is wondering where people have gone, and meanwhile the show is going to kick ass in here, Deb.
Come on, you want to sit back?
I never went anywhere. These guys both took off and.
We're trying to smoke pot, but we have to go off parcel because we're at a licensed facility, and that'll be arranged somehow at some point.
Yeah, so no, today has been a challenging 420 for sure. We had a tent that they accidentally damaged when dropping it off.
Oh.
The only tent that was left was gigantic, so we couldn't use it. Not that it would matter anyway, because Mother Nature decided to snow on us.
Not the best of day after having some great weather days.
Then our comedian wasn't able to show up, and the chocolate guy got COVID and was just cleared yesterday, so we didn't want to give out our new chocolates with CBD and Delta 8 in them covered with COVID.
Well, at least the production quality of our show is perfect.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I came in here to fix microphone problems actually.
One thing that's gone right. Okay.
It's par for the course.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, but
you know, it's still just to be able to celebrate 420 in today's era and remember what it was like when I was 16. 17, came to the Hash Bash for the first time, thinking about all the small towns out there that still live that way. Just be really grateful for where we live, how far we've come, and, celebrate, but definitely take a moment of silence, or more importantly, put one in the air for those that, can't be with us. I know that we lost Marvin this week. I'm really close with, I really enjoyed working with him and Richard Clement, and just remember to be grateful for what we have. But that being said, I'm really happy to see everyone over here today. I know that you have plenty of choices where to be on 420.
Well, we're trying to work out getting our show on the road to be a little bit better. We need to do a few things still to really accommodate that. We have another streaming service. We have some other equipment that we need. We're kind of hoping that the space, more accommodating space from what we had last week, would be a part of it, but we're still learning. We appreciate being able to be here. This is a cool place. We like this place. We don't go to places we don't like. We like the Botanical Company in Franklin Fields. We were there last week. We came here and we've already been talking about the organic standard of growing that we've talked about a few times before. That's a very unique, very cool thing about this whole operation.
Yeah, right now we're talking about creating a more cost-conscious organic brand or off-organic brand, where maybe we don't use the certification process, but we use the techniques, figuring out how to eliminate some of the cost.
It's hard.
In my opinion, there should be as much organic cannabis at as low a cost as possible. So that's really one of the things that we're looking at. I know that we spoke with Gage Green Group this week about maybe doing some cross promoting and really going down that lane with them and a few others as well.
Of course, that's a group that has a very serious philosophical approach about that and high standards, and they produce some great medicine.
They really worship the organic concept. They do.
Well, organics, but the other thing that I think Apothecare really wants to look at is reaching out to the caregiver community, which a lot of organizations just aren't doing, and really looking at recruiting the best of the best and making sure that they have a place in the industry that for whatever reason they seem to have to fight for, instead of being able just to be a part of the process. So we're really looking for people that want to make the crossover and you know, get a brand for themselves. And they actually had approached us, so that was really humbling as well, because I think those guys are rock stars, and you know, we need more rock stars around.
So for reference, Grape Stomper was one of their big hits. So
yeah, I've sold
and many others.
Thousands of Grape Stomper clones and plants over the last few years. I think we've got one of their genetics in there right now. We've got Purple Punch, which I believe came from them.
Yeah, Purple Punch, exactly.
So that's probably the smallest yielder that we have right now, but it's probably the prettiest bud that's produced. It has that Skittles look to it, a real dark purple with a contrast to it because of the trichomes that really gives it bag appeal. So, you know, that's the other thing, is providing to caregivers, providing to other growers. I'm a member of several grower groups on Facebook, and I'm pleased and surprised, and sometimes enjoying the comedy that seeing all the first-time growers that, you know, just every year there's more people growing. So to be able to provide seeds and plants and help teach organic growing techniques is very rewarding in itself. The teaching component is probably one of my favorite things about the industry, helping people get into it, helping people be successful.
It's true. Yep. Anthony, I think we're going to switch over to Adam Brook live in Florida with the Convets 420 fishing promotion.
Look at that Hall of Famer. You know, Adam Brook might actually be responsible for me. I came when I was 17 to the Hash Bash and absolutely fell in love
with that mug right there.
With Ann Arbor.
Oh, okay.
And, I've been to pretty much everyone ever since. And usually when I see Adam, I give him free weed. That's important to me.
I'm sure that's important to Adam too. So, Adam, you're on mute, sir.
Sorry about that, fellas. Yeah, we're just at the marina here, hanging out with all the convicts, and went out fishing today. And it's been kind of fun hanging out with Richard DeLisi and Dr. Allen, and all kinds of good old smugglers. Of course, it's hard to hear you out here, but we're having a good time. Here, we'll show you. Oh, sorry about that. Just gonna try to flip my camera, but I can't figure out how to do that.
Well, I can see it.
There we go.
It's been rough enough, man.
There we go. I got it.
So I saw a few clips from Stacy on the boat.
What did you say?
I saw a few clips from Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy's done real well with some clips. There she is right now in the hot black number.
Crawl her over if she comes over.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her, but she's yapping with the ladies. There's Amy, the producer of the 420 movie. But yeah, it's been a good time.
So who were some other participants?
The Black Tuna was here. Rory Gould showed up. The whole DeLisi family's here. All kinds of lifers, a bunch of guys that had been sent to prison for life that got commuted and got out. So it's kind of cool.
Very cool.
What'd you catch today, Adam? Anything?
I caught nothing, but we did catch some pretty cool fish. there were, I have no idea what they were called, but they were cool. One was blue and really neat.
Is it gonna be stuff that's prepared for you guys later on, or?
We're having this little after party. They're bringing appetizers around. I know that some of the people that caught fish, the edible ones, they had them filleted and they took them with them.
Very cool.
So, yeah, we're just doing our thing. It's this is our little after party.
Very nice.
Sweet.
So the outside does not look like that here.
No, I talked to my kid. She said it was snowing.
That it is.
I don't know how it looks. Yeah. You see anything?
No, it just looked like a parking lot. Yeah.
Okay, well, it doesn't surprise me, but it is coming down.
Sorry. I'm sorry I missed it. I like the cold.
Yeah. Yeah. We got some more for you when you get back.
Right.
Yeah. We'll save it. We'll hold on to it for you.
Yeah, do that. That'd be awesome.
Right. How long will you be in Florida, Adam?
I'm here till Saturday. I head down to Lauderdale tomorrow for a few days.
Very cool, man. And there it is.
Nice deal. Good job.
So, yeah, hold on. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys. I just wanted to come on because it's 420 and say hi. It's a little hard to hear you with all the noise here, but...
Yeah. Colin and Jim are here, so the sound isn't that good.
It's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. What was that?
Anyway, man, we appreciate you checking in, Adam. Say hi to everybody for us.
I will. I'll pass
Happy
it.
420.
Thank you.
I'll eventually find Rory and let him know he missed out.
Yeah.
Happy 420.
And Stacy.
Yes, definitely. Happy 420. Appreciate you guys.
Call back in if you need to. Talk to you.
I will. I will. I'll try to do that. You guys take care.
Oh, that'd be cool. Okay.
All right.
All right. See ya. There we go. We're at least accommodating, getting some big Michigan people on here, and that's kind of what this place likes to highlight, accentuate.
Well, I had forgotten that they were going to be off the water before our show started, so I sort of thought we might get an interview from the boat, which I thought would be pretty cool. But thinking about it now, this is probably way better because the signal's stronger and everything's good.
And there are some of those clips Stacy was doing earlier. I thought we might catch them on the boat still, but they had some rain and stuff out there too. Oh, poor babies. They have some rains. They have to come back and hang out by a palm tree.
Yeah,
served.
Yeah, so sad. And the mimosas, you know, yeah, it's,
right. And I'm sure Adam's not smoking anywhere. He should not.
No. Of course, I got a snowstorm to negotiate while I have 2 joints lit in my hands and I'm driving in the other, you know. But
that makes you appreciate Florida a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. No, but here in Michigan, Apothecare's open, but it's just one of a whole stream of openings that we've had. Some of them in places where there's already been distribution centers, but a lot of them first times where a city is now opening up and offering distribution services to their entire population. And it's pretty exciting. It's a good time to be involved.
It is.
I drove in and I saw an Ohm of Medicine billboard that said, our delivery is the toke of the town. And that was a pretty cool little turn of the phrase.
That's right.
So, yeah. I don't think Apothecare is doing delivery yet, are they?
I think they are.
Oh, that's true, yes.
This
So it is very popular.
DoorDash doesn't come in and grab deliveries and, you know, things like that.
There'll be
In the future,
couple.
Yeah.
You have to like actually get a special recognition from the state that you can do deliveries. You have to show them your plan and let them know you're going to be compliant and that kind of
So
stuff.
just be a generic service that can go from one dispo to the next.
There's a couple I saw. There's one called Lantern Now in Detroit, and then one called Ease. They're like a California company that like is specifically delivery, and it's like.
And let me let you know about that company that Colin just brought up. They have joined our Glen organization and are helping us get people expunged. They've donated some money.
I heard they're very like a social justice company.
Well, let's hope that sticks, because a lot of times when people first start a company and they want to, smooth their transition into a new market, they do a lot of stuff. But in year 2, year 3, year 4, sometimes those things slack off. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get a continued degree of support from them long term.
And they also just joined the Freedom Coalition, Michigan Cannabis Freedom Coalition.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, and again, we're talking about some very exciting things. I was at Michael Thompson's birthday party on Sunday evening, and I enjoyed a luncheon at his home yesterday. When you talk about emancipating prisoners from jail, it doesn't get any better than the Michael Thompson story. First of all, how horrible was his conviction? But secondly, how wonderful his landing has been coming out of prison. And what was really exciting is that he talked yesterday about going to visit the Genesee County Jail, which is one of the state's worst prisons, actually, to do a walkthrough, to maybe give them advice on how to fix things, and then also to talk to the inmates, to tell them, how best to conduct themselves while they're there, and then what to expect when they get out, and how they can best make use of their time while they're inside through taking advantages of educational programs, trade services. There's a lot of things they're doing nowadays in that one specific prison for prisoners. So talk about a guy who's really giving back. It's very, very inspirational to hang around Michael Thompson.
Hey, he said I can be heard. He said he was going to get going on this stuff, and he's been staying true to his word.
He has, yep. And of course, prison reform involves so many different things. There's the inhuman guards, there's the poor food, there's mandatory minimum sentencing, there's mental health issues. When you talk about reforming the prisons, realize that it's going to be a whole strata of small changes that are all working towards fixing the program. There's not just one thing you can sign on the dotted line and fix all issues. So hopefully Michael can help to be a big part of that.
And when you say that, is it because there's different, break it down as far as some of the different factions there?
Well, some of the different things that need to be corrected?
Yeah.
Well, of course, if you're talking about mental health in the jails, you have to talk about increasing the degree of health care that they receive for everything. Michael Thompson came out complaining that he had needed an MRI on his knee and his hip for years and years and years. And they told him that they would not give him an MRI because it was just too expensive to do for patients. Well, that's crazy. We have portable MRI machines where they could pull one up into the prison yard, park it, and
do a day worth of them for everybody that needs it or whatever.
Once a month.
They typically don't address anything medically with inmates unless it's a life or death situation. And then even then, a lot of times they don't.
He brought up the rape that takes place in there. He brought up the shitty food that takes place in there. Lots of things that are just inhumane that go on regularly.
Yeah, and it's a hard sell to the general public because the general public, has the attitude of, well, then don't do the crime if you're not going to, do the, and don't view people as human beings. And that's where you run into these issues. And they recruit people for these jobs as prison guards, and they don't weed out the psychos. It's just really.
And the different systems we have to work through, like not only the prison system, part of the prison system is the when people go on parole. So there's a whole nother parole system too that has to be considered here.
And you know that most of those probation officers and parole officers are ex-correction officers. That's your next step if you're going to stay in the system and get your ass out of the prison. That would be your next step.
Yeah, if you want to get away from having the risk of being in prison every day, but still stay in the corrections department. That's a step up, right?
But it's the same mentality. You've got the same person. They moved from abusing the inmate inside, and now they're going to abuse the parolee.
Right. When you devalue the human, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, you're always going to devalue that human. And when that person is put into a leadership or a responsibility role, then they're able to devalue many people. And that's how culture is established. When you have multiple people doing the same thing, that's culture, baby. And if the culture at the Department of Corrections is to treat people who are on parole or probation like they're guilty bastards who deserve every bit of punishment that they get coming to them, then that's the way you can go to sleep at night. You don't worry about this guy because he deserves whatever happened to him. You don't fret about that person because they deserve whatever's going on. It's an easy way to absolve yourself of guilt, but it's a shitty way to run a penal system. It really is.
They just try and put like more traps once you're out just to trip you back into that system.
Remember too that to a certain degree, the prison industrial complex is a for-profit industry, and that they absolutely want to keep prisoners in so that they can charge every day for a certain amount of money for food, a certain amount of money for healthcare, a certain amount of money for everything. And when you're inside, I think a lot of people don't realize prisoners are forced to pay for a lot of the things that they get when they're inside prison. Things that we just automatically assume prisoners get, they don't. No. And if they don't have support on the outside feeding money into their JPay account, into their bank account in prison, they go without.
Yeah, they give them basically nothing, Rick. I mean, they give them like a book of stamps and a bar of soap. I mean, seriously, and nothing else.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you don't have somebody helping and putting money on your commissary, you are in trouble.
And this is one of the things that the Michigan Cannabis Freedom Coalition, the Freedom Fund, is designed to do, not only to help people have an easier time once they get out, not only to help them with the paperwork in order to get out, but also to help ease their time while they're still incarcerated. And we absolutely take feedback from people and family members of those incarcerated and see if there's something we can do to help them. There are some people who may have criminal histories that mean it's not likely we're going to be able to assist them. If you've got one cannabis crime but 6 violent crimes also, even if we took the cannabis crime off your sheet, you're still not getting out. So we have to prioritize certain prisoners based on the resources and time we have right now.
Potentially, unless the unnecessary cannabis crime was the segue into those other violent crimes, which is still happening. There's people have an underlying cannabis activity and now have several felony firearm charges and stuff like that. But I mean, of course, that's Michael Thompson's story to a degree.
But with the Michigan Cannabis Freedom Coalition, even if you're not sure that you qualify for our assistance or our support, you should still reach out anyway. Even if we can't, it's possible, not guaranteed, but it's possible we might be able to refer you to one of our partner organizations. We just voted to add a partner organization that does ease people's passing when they come out of prison to find employment, find housing, and find the important things to them. We're adding new coalition partners all the time. So we have a great ability to be helpful right now. And we're also raising a little bit of money. So we'll have some funds to be able to do some things that, you know, maybe have just been dreams to advocates in the past.
Yeah, in some cases, the parole board, in fact, always, the parole board's concerned about what the person's going to be able to do in terms of supporting themselves and getting along when they get out. And looking out for that is a big thing. Michael
Thompson was very fortunate that with his commutation from the governor, he's able to work directly in the cannabis industry, kind of unfettered by the Department of Corrections. But sometimes when people get out, they have conditions for their parole, which don't allow them to associate with felons, don't allow them to associate with any controlled substances. Even though cannabis is legal in Michigan, the courts don't always recognize it as such. So there are certain people that have restrictions that would prevent them from having some of the advantages Michael Thompson has. But there are still ways to make it easier.
Another reason we need to take cannabis off the state's controlled substances list, so it can't be pointed to as a controlled substance anymore.
Yep, absolutely true. We've worked very hard and talked for a long time about trying to get cannabis removed, not only just from Schedule 1, but removed completely from the list of controlled substances.
You know, I just thought about this. I shouldn't have
Shelly's
just
trying to get back in.
Thought about this, let her in. Shelly's coming back in. She had to split. There was something going on in another city she had to attend to in an emergency situation. Hopefully everything is okay. But we are in Washington
It was just
County.
it was a vehicle situation,
Not an accident or something? Okay, good.
Yep.
We are in Washington County, and Washington County's new prosecutor, Ellie Savitt, turns out to be pretty cool, has started right off by making pronouncements on how he's going to handle things philosophically, which don't include all the bullshit that we're used to. And you guys just had him on the NTO show.
Yeah, it was great.
And let's hear about that a little bit, hear about what he's saying now that he's been in for a few weeks.
Yeah, Colin, go ahead, man.
Well, it was really, really good long episode. We kind of got into his history, and then we talked to him about the NPO policy that he put into in Washtenaw. After that, he talked about the Suboxone and how it's decriminalized also in Washtenaw County, and how that's like curb opioid use in other places around the country. Also
Sex work,
yeah. He talked about he has a couple progressive sex work policies. If somebody is a sex worker and you don't pay them, you can actually go after them, or if you are sexually assaulted, you can still go after them. And within Washtenaw County.
but you won't get prosecuted for being a sex worker.
Yeah, you won't be.
That's the beauty of that.
The underlying thing is, if you're not hurting people, if you're not creating victims or things like that, he's not as interested in the behavior, even if there is technical illegalities associated with it.
Yeah, but you can check out the whole episode at the NPO show, our Facebook page, and our YouTube channel. It's both up there. He talks for an hour.
He was so generous with his time. It was so amazing to have him on, and he had so much to say and lay down. When it came to cannabis, one of the first things he brought up was cannabis, and just how you can have as many bottles of beer or alcohol in your home. Why can't you have as much cannabis as you need? Right. There shouldn't be a limit on things like that, it's ridiculous. And he's trying to just make more common sense policies.
Good for him. Ali Savitt also appeared on the Hashbash digital broadcast from 2021. You can catch that on the YouTube or on Twitch. He did probably a 2 or 3 minute video, which primarily just discusses concepts and his philosophy. But that 1 hour long MPO show sounds like he got really into specifics, specific policy issues, specific methodologies he's going to change within his own prosecutorial staff. So if you want a superficial one, hit the Hashbash one, but really to get into it. And the MPO show broadcast can be found on your Facebook page, is that right?
That's right. Yep. Instagram. Yep, YouTube as well. And funny thing, he'll tell you a couple stories during our broadcast, so you have to tune into it. When he was a clerk for Sandra Day O'Connor and RBG.
Yeah.
So pretty amazing.
And he's a young dude. He's like mid-30s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has not
Very
only
accomplished.
a potentially long career as a prosecutor, but perhaps he might be upwardly mobile within the political system itself.
Let's have him be our next AG, man. We could use that.
Or perhaps even a higher office. The fact is, we really
I'd like to see him be AG for 8 years before moving on.
I'd like him as Attorney General for a while to really set the tone before he moves up into a governor potentially.
Right.
But what we really are lacking in the American populace right now are leaders in elected positions that really get it, that understand that there are certain things that for a long time we demonized, maybe because of religious issues, maybe because of carryover from the 1800s, who knows? But now it's time for us to modernize our laws. And sex work, substances which were once considered to be illegal, entheogens, other plant medicines, midwifery. There are so many things that we should not be focusing on as a criminal behavior. And let's focus a little bit more on white collar crime, huh? How about the people that rip off old people? How about these guys scamming people from their telephone calls, right? I'm calling from India because you have a lapsed extended warranty policy on a car you haven't owned for 4 years.
I think Dana gives a shit about stuff like that. She's really been good about a lot of consumer schemes to rip people off and stuff like that.
There's a lot of those USPS texts that come through now.
Yeah, so you hit the link, then
you have a missing package.
Amazon, something like that.
Yep, they're very good at disguising themselves as a legitimate business or governmental organization. So it's easy to see why senior citizens get tripped up by this. But that's why we need to put more attention on that, because that's a vulnerable population. When they lose money, it's almost impossible for them to recreate it. When a person of my age loses money, I'm not so bad, but someone in their 70s, you can't remake a nest egg at that point. So we have to be more cautious about them. And that's where I'd like to see some more police action, not focusing on cannabis or Delta 8 THC, trying to hunt down people that are making Delta 8. Give me a fucking break. Come on.
Over the weekend, I went to Shango. I saw you guys did too.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So Curtis Gore, old friend, involved, well, of course, BDT. I mean, I learned
BDT's Pipe and Tobacco Shop here, a legendary Michigan
3
establishment.
doors down in Pontiac, and BDT and Hazel Park were 2 places when I was younger. And I learned a lot about what was going on with cannabis.
BDT has been around forever, since what, 70s?
It's the 70s.
Yeah. So those of you not from Michigan may not realize it, but it really is a household name amongst cannabis consumers in Southeast Michigan.
It is, and
beautiful
he has blossomed into being involved in several different kind of businesses in the industry, directly licensed and other things. He's got a gas company. They're putting together a museum, a cannabis museum, which we did a broadcast from, which sounded good.
Yeah.
Although we had a mixing board with us, I think, didn't we?
What's that?
Yes, we did. I remember Colin sitting at it.
Yeah, we used the CRB setup for that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so we
I'm sorry.
No, we need better. I can't hear you. Yeah, we need to up our game as far as that goes. We will.
My headphones.
And what else? He's got Shango. Now Shango's kind of a chain thing, but he's got the Michigan one, the Bay City and Hazel Park.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one too. I think Lapeer.
Okay.
Yeah, it said 3 of them on my.
Nice. Okay.
On my
Man, the one in Hazel Park is awesome. I mean, I'm sure the other ones are too, but the location right off the service drive at 9 Mile and I-75. I think he said 75,000 commuters go by there a day or something like that.
Yeah, it's a perfect location.
It's an
You
incredibly
couldn't pick a better spot if you did to create it, out of fantasy land. It's
the first exit north of Detroit on I-75, which makes it incredibly attractive. And I realize we're here at Apothecare and we should be talking about this center, but let me just mention, as we mentioned BDTs and how long they've been in a business, that was a dangerous game to be in the 70s and the 80s. Yes. People knew that the feds were watching them, that they would record people's license plate numbers that were in the parking lot of let's call them head shops, right?
So they were important, and I would agree with that. 3 doors down used to do a thing. That was a small place. It was like this big closet of everybody who had gone in there. And there'd be different times, depending on what laws are and how much enforcement's working, that you'd go in there and there'd just be apparel or something. But then you start talking a little bit, and then next you know, the box comes out with the glass in it behind the counter.
Station in Inkster is the same thing. It's been around since the 70s, and that's where we used to go when I lived, in the Canton, West End area. But the station, half of it was glass and everything related to cannabis. The other thing was stripper clothes.
Yeah, or there'd be the ones
right on Michigan Avenue.
Or there'd be the ones like the Jungle in Birmingham that would tell you, here's the lingo to use. So if you said the wrong words and were applying, you're going to use the for controlled substance, then you can do that. But if you were keeping everything out of that zone by your conversation, somehow that was all acceptable, and they weren't going to get busted.
We had
how fucking stupid it
like
is.
the porn section of Blockbuster.
We had the Susie's stash in Flint, and for a while, Flint had a paraphernalia ordinance which was tougher than the states. So they could only sell you metal pieces that you'd have to screw together to fashion a pipe. So, you had all these different pieces, and to me, it was kind of cool because you could put together your own thing. You could make chambers, and you could put cannabis in there and get it all resin.
Does anybody remember having to buy a big bag of tobacco just to get the little cheap-ass pack of papers that comes in it?
I remember having to sign my name on a list because I bought papers without tobacco. I remember that.
Speaking of remembrances, if you guys don't mind, my friend sent this to me recently. It's 30 years old. It's a poem I wrote after our exams at Michigan State University that I wrote, and it has a lot to do with today.
Cool.
It's quite short. So, we've had all our tests. It's been quite a hell. We've strived for the best, and we both did quite well. Now that it's time for us to sit back, we'll commit a crime and buy us a sack. We'll smoke to our work, we'll hit to our night, so call for a bag, and I'll strike up a light.
Call for a bag. We can still do that legally now. Right?
Yeah, we commit a crime, though.
Old school poem, but it was super illegal.
Oh,
yes.
Anthony joins us with a special guest.
Yeah, we had to we had to go to Adam when he came on. We were still talking to you. We're hoping that you continued the conversation. We also would like to, before we end today, we'd like to go through with the phone and go to the store and other places and let everybody see what's going on
You
here.
can't see this one. This one's Rick's.
All right, that one's mine.
This one's yours.
Oh, wow.
In fact, everyone on the Jazz Cabbage team is going to leave with a plant today.
Wow, that's awesome. Cocoa Bomb Kush. Woo!
Yeah.
It's perfect timing in my grow. This is just.
Cocoa Bomb?
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Cocoa Bomb.
So depending on what space you have, that might be.
I have such a pretty smile. I guess it's asking.
I was gonna say.
It's gonna be a house plant for Rick.
Right, yeah. I want to put a nice hemp plant downstairs in the lobby, since we can.
Anthony, you remember back in the day at Big Daddy's, we had actually a tomato plant set up in the lobby. And one time we had cops in there and the guy goes, "Oh, I can smell the plants from over here. They smell so good." And I said, "Officer, those are tomato plants. They don't smell like cannabis." And he turned red in the face, turned around, and he walked out the door and stood on the sidewalk while his partner did the interrogation. So funny. Thank you so much for this. That's great.
Oh, you're very welcome. Give it a good home.
Cocoa Bomb Kush, I will.
That's actually my.
Oh, you're gonna make me flower now for you?
Well, they
Take everybody's plant home?
That's actually my. I
genetics.
think that's the fastest
Some
thing
new
in the world.
genetics, yeah, let's see how they go.
I'm getting a setup pretty soon from Brook.
Yeah, but you don't have it yet.
I don't have it yet.
I cannot believe how big
What's,
that
what
place
strain
is.
this is?
This is Cocoa Bomb.
So it's gonna
Cocoa Bomb Kush.
And while I'm thinking about it, I have t-shirts from Grove Green, Michigan for everybody. Visited them to talk about this. They're gonna get Gorilla for the tent. They're gonna get possibly Hortilux for the light, some other equipment, and
It's like a girlfriend.
have like a little home garden to demonstrate to people. We'll try out some different things in it and stuff like that. It should be fun and educational.
Are you gonna name it, Rick?
I will, but I'm gonna ruminate on the name for a while. I'm gonna come up with something sexy that's cannabis related, you know.
Okay.
I don't know, we'll work on it for a while.
Jessica Rabbit.
Oh, well. Depends on how big. Yeah.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah, you have to earn it. Wow, fantastic. No, we were just talking about delivery service, and Apothecare does delivery too, right?
Well, Pharmacist Wellness also does delivery. So if you've got 72 plants and you don't have a way to get them from here to where they need to go, we will drop them off for you.
Okay.
So
You will Uber the plants
we
over,
will
right?
Uber
Yes.
your plants.
But if somebody orders cannabis to use from the store, that can be delivered to them.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we do curbside and delivery, and actually they delivered all the way to Farmington Hills earlier today.
Wow.
Wow.
Good radius. Somebody
When we
wants
say
to
we
Yeah.
deliver, we mean
We
we
don't have to
deliver.
do a specific delivery area, you just go.
I think right now, call and the delivery person has time, they will.
They're not concerned, the state's not concerned about how far you go.
Yeah,
out.
no.
Yeah, it's all about just being back to the shop after the deliveries.
And having the proper manifest, and everybody knowing what's with you.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah, we have a policy that we have to follow.
Well, if you get a few out in that area, you can route a bunch of them together. So, you know,
And then with the plants, we'll deliver anywhere, you know, given the situation. Just not willing to put a hood over my head and get in the back of a vehicle anymore. That was a weird time for me, and I'm not willing to do it again.
Let's not have that scary new one.
And
That's a good
we're
idea.
talking about cannabis still, right?
Oh, fantastic. You know, it's a nice snowy day. It's perfect for tacos.
It is Taco Tuesday and 420, all in the same
I
day.
say, let's take a little walk around and check some shit out for a second.
Yeah, let's go over to the other side and check out the plants, see what they're doing.
So Jamie, you're gonna take the phone with you, and
I'll go with Colin and Anthony at least.
and then we can take you off mute.
And what's his, and Colin come with us.
Yeah, you should work just fine going off mute now.
And Shelly says, happy 420. Chauvin found guilty on charges.
Who was?
Wow. Charges.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good boy.
right.
Yes.
Remember love.
Rick, we do-
There we go. Here's the, am I being on? Am I being on?
Kobe.
Kobe,
Yep, with the liver.
doing his job. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up? He's also going to be an associate producer this summer for our concert series.
Oh, get down, man. Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah, that'll be great.
The break area where the Taco Tuesday is happening.
Oh, I'm gonna run in here real quick. Look at that shit, man. Took care of us very well here today. I'm looking forward to that. Just a few minutes. That's where the great spread has been accommodated. Yeah.
So this is
nice little boardroom where some business takes place.
This is where we waste most of our time.
Where all the ideas fly.
I can smell.
Man, this building is so cool.
Yeah, no, we're really lucky with the location and everything. John and Jack and Lewis have really done amazing job. I was already in the long time.
This is where the plants are?
This is where Pharmacist Wellness is. We, my partners own Apothecare here.
Do you mind being on? Here we go.
This is Mrs. Freed.
Mrs. Freed. How you doing? Thank you so much for the Mexican food, organic, home prepared Mexican food, which looks something like this. Thank you so much. Hey, Taco Tuesday on 420. We can't not do that. So thank you very much for making it special for us. We appreciate it. And look at these great plants.
Yeah. So over here we're doing a nursery. We're actually filling these and the process of filling these all up with seeds. We'll be able to do about 72 seedlings a shelf in this type of container. Then we also produce some clones here using the dome. We have a lot of teams in stock right now, because most people can see these plants are a little bit larger. And we're still putting together our tissue culture room.
Nice. Colin is enthralled. See?
That's Cindy 99 crossed with Dirty Poison. So that, you can smoke and smoke and smoke and have all kinds of relaxation and everything to it, but it will not put you to sleep. It's weird, because it is heavy, but it will not put you to sleep. Then our biggest builder is our Velvet OG over there in the corner. Those guys pulling 4 pounds off plants in the indoors.
Wow, that's my biggest.
They're using 20, 25-gallon pots in order to achieve that and a bunch of inside techniques. But
Yeah, I grow OG inside. It's my biggest producer. But I just grow anything like 7-gallon pots.
this is lime. This is lime OG fish.
Ooh.
And then
About the size of my folks are right now.
Very cool, man.
that GMO is the highest testing cultivar I've ever had. It's tested as high as 38%. Total cannabinoids. I do have the test results to prove it. That particular test was 34.4% just THC alone.
Information that means that's information that means nothing to me personally. I know it gets people excited, but THC number doesn't tell you how good it is, how high you get.
Oh, absolutely not. We have a Sunday driver that normally will test in mid to upper 20s, and I like the buzz on it.
You could just some kinds it just needs to be some there. It doesn't really matter what percentage it's in. You get as fucked up as anything.
Yeah, no, it's all about the synergistic effect of the cannabis profile.
Well, we've all kind of internalized a little bit. Oh my God, the great THC number. But I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out for sake of consistency for me, because I've talked about it on the show a lot. I can't just let it go.
I know that Rick doesn't like the turn of phrase like it'll melt your face off or anything like that. So I'm just saying that stuff over there will okay.
Well, I will be the judge of that. We'll have to put that to a test. It gives us something else to do in the future.
But that's the other benefit is we've grown these, we've smoked these, We know which ones will be best in the closet. We know which ones will be best out in the field. We know which ones will be best in a basement or a more professional setting. We try to work with people after they leave here. So if they encounter problems, we're also an educational source.
That's cool.
We really do spend a lot of time on the phone every day, walking people through problems, walking people through manicure steps, just because I want there to be as much use as possible.
And we talked about it when I think when Jim was here, or possibly when we did our formal interview with you guys last time, about how this, to some operators' mind, might mean that you're helping to fuel competition by people being able to grow in their home more easily and possibly liking that product and not going to the stores as much, or whatever the thought process of these people. That's something that I don't buy into, but that is really prevalent. It's just nice to see you not giving a shit about that, you know?
That's a real problem, and I think that entrepreneurs like that should stick to like plant stores or, you know, lamp stores or some other industry, because at the end of the day, the caregivers aren't going anywhere, nor should they have to. And that type of short-sightedness is the reason why those types of people shouldn't own cannabis.
Right on. We'll see what else.
In reality, if they really looked at it, the other side of the coin, if what I just said is a true statement, the caregiver's not going anywhere. He also wasn't going to a dispensary to buy anything. Why don't you give them something to buy?
You know, and actually, as we all do know, they typically do go to dispensaries. It's like just in between harvests, or to check out a different kind of a product, or just there's some reason to stop by. You know. You know.
I've got a cultivar up here that's also down in the case, and the caregiver is considering that he now has a legitimate reason, even if he has
something to base it on, an idea of what they might produce from it.
I know that at People's Choice in Ann Arbor, we get phones there.
Before People's Choice were owned by complete evil pieces of shit.
Right.
He means.
Yeah. When you say complete pieces of shit, you mean KTC Industries?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. I remember now. I almost forgot. Didn't they build a $10 million Ferrari and wreck it in turn one on race day?
Something like that. I don't know. I don't like them. I do remember that. I don't remember every detail.
I remember it well.
And a lot of us don't like them.
But the old People's Choice, which I miss every moment.
And we miss Harry too, man. Hope he's doing all right out there.
So Harry, I believe, is with Richard Warshing today.
Okay, right boy Rick. Yeah.
So I think that is where Harry Barracuda is. I'm sorry, the great, wise Harry Barracuda is today.
Awesome.
But yeah, we took what we were doing at People's Choice and put it on steroids, and we rolled out an education.
Awesome, man. Yeah. No, our People's Choice is great, man. The original places around Ypsi and Ann Arbor were set the pace, you know. Yeah, let's check out some more stuff here. Thank you again very much. We'll see you later. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, I'm fine.
Deb's fucked up somehow. We're going to try to look into that later in the show. Exactly why. She's saying that she's fine, but she's obviously not.
So we do have an elevator for those that have accessibility issues.
So we just stay 6 feet apart in there. We should be all right.
They don't have accessibility.
Do you need to take the elevator? Man, this building is a maze. Kind of reminds me of the Third Coast building, except for this is actually bigger and windier. So leaving one part of the building.
Well, this is great, but it really weirds them out if you go in there and try to buy weed. So don't do that. I'll go in and get a booth.
They probably appreciate the extra business, I would imagine. And this is the store front. We walk in. We got beautiful shots of the garden when you come in. Looks like some trivia going on over here about cannabis.
This is where we keep all of our CBD products, our smoking accessories.
The store part of it, swag and nice, just products that don't need to be in metric and stuff like that. And do you guys mind being on video? Do you guys mind being on video? Okay. How you guys doing? Very good. And really looks cool here. Yeah, we're doing a Jazz Cabbage broadcast right now, trying to check out the store here. So. And menus, very nice and clear and big. And sanitizer, use some of that. And here's the actual dispensing area. And man, when Jim was here, it looked really nice. The shot looked really nice that he had on his phone. I hope this is similar for people checking it out. Yeah, yeah. Because it's my phone. But anyway. New kick-ass mask. Thank you very much. Appropriately says Apothecare on it. And we have an award for that was a Sunday driver, right? Right. Remember that. I got some when I was here because of that, and I enjoyed it.
Real beautiful space.
Each
very nice, but it doesn't really make you feel like you're overwhelmed with cheapness. It doesn't make you want to leave because it's too uppity.
Each one of these sectioned off spaces is a bud tender station here, pretty much. Okay.
Yeah, and eventually we do see that regulations coming down for plunge.
How you guys doing? You guys mind being on video for a second? Jazz Cabbage Cafe.
Mike and Grace.
Hey Grace, Mike. Do you guys you call it bud tender here?
Consultant.
Okay.
Yeah. Apothecary.
Ah, I dig it. Apothecarist. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you guys.
So, and then we do have a lobby or a patio area out front along Flint, which you can't smoke weed at, but hopefully one day.
Hey, maybe there'll be a social lounge in here.
Always remember what about Bob? What's baby stuff?
That's right. And what do we got? It's
yeah. So they
Rick has come back to the table. He's up to no good, but he's at least.
And going through all
I'm sure he wouldn't get to he wouldn't start getting in on the Mexican food before we all were up there and had a chance to look through it first and make sure that. Yeah. He wiped his sack on everything. Oh, he did get some Mexican food.
No, I saw him in there. I know that.
Nice.
For me, one of the things that I can't stand about our industry right now is just plastic and waste. And how are we supposed to solve that problem? To know that our grams are biodegradable, we're not using gum or even using silicone or glass. We use very little plastic in our.
It's definitely a problem. Packaging is a huge problem.
So, there's a few other really great groups out there in the country that are also doing that with the containers, and I hope to see more wood containers. I hope to see more sustainable packaging in general.
And Rick is begging for attention. He's up there by himself. He's doing different things in front of the camera, trying to show off his Stoner Lives Matter shirts. You can't tell right now.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
Seemed like he was trying to shake him up. So I'll tell you what, let's go back up, regroup, have some final thoughts, and then get down with some Mexican food. And really appreciate this store. It's really beautiful. The philosophy behind it and a lot of the stuff going down here is unique, and I'm glad to be able to show it off to everybody. Back.
So if you guys have time and you want to come and see the concert venue, we'll roll up and ask layer take joint.
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot what we're going to do for that, but yes.
Okay.
All right, you guys, thank you very much. See you. Have a good day. We come back out in this beautiful weather. It's April, man. You know, snowstorm, 70 degrees, snowstorm, whatever. It's crisp.
It's Michigan. We're tough enough to take it.
And the roads aren't really that bad.
Yeah.
Rick's saying some stuff. I can't. No, I haven't had my headphones on, so I haven't been able to tell what he's saying. But here's everybody. There's this great shot of everybody walking up. There's Jim's buttocks.
Very scientific with that, sir. Very scientific.
Yes. Jesus Christ. There we go. All right. Homing back in through the labyrinth. Man, so there's this other space on the other side over here we didn't even get to. I mean, there's not much there to see, but that's where like lounge, other stuff could go down, so forth. It's really right on Plymouth Road here on the north side of Ann Arbor. This is the food in here. This way through here is the show. We're all regrouped in this room. And taco meat. Oh no. Oh no. I might have to deal with some shit, but I'm still very happy. Let everybody know. But it sucks. But anyway, we're going to cut today short, I think, a little bit, just based on sound, based on being able to say that we got most of the stuff in that we wanted to. We got Hall of Famer stuff in here with John Sinclair. We got a check-in from Adam Brook down in Florida. We talked about Marvin. We walked around Apothecare, and it's really cool. There's great stuff going on here with a great philosophy. And they provided tacos for us, Taco Tuesday on 420 Tuesday. That's pretty good. So I'm down with that. Before we go, Jim.
Hi, next week on the NTO show, we have Senator Jeff Irwin.
Ooh, far out.
April 30th from 4 to 5:30 on Facebook.
Get down.
Happy 420.
Definitely happy 420. Colin?
Happy 420. Jim told me about the NTO show.
Yeah, hold on a second, man. You turned off my camera by looking at it. And by me accidentally. And by me accidentally hitting a button.
Yeah, I got
NTO show next
Cabbage Cafe next week.
Well, thanks for being here.
Trying to
Appreciate
think if there's not really any Michigan selling stuff going on this week.
We're celebrating for
Yeah.
Mushroom lettuce, right there, if it doesn't already, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it will.
Hey,
Perfectly.
I'm perfectly fine.
No,
I'm not old at all.
Could you stand? Same cannot be said. Thank you. Rick.
Happy 420, everybody. It was a great show. I hope you're able to enjoy it. We'll put it on. And remember to stay safe today. And don't forget those who are lonely, who have no other people to turn to. We are their salvation. Don't shrink from your job. Help people out.
Right on.
The unity message very prevalent today during the service also. So good way to 420 unity time. Thanks everybody. Jazz Cabbage Cafe.
We're calling it.
Thanks Apothecare. Thanks Botanical. Thanks Real Solutions. Thanks Grove Michigan. Thanks Detroit Nutrient Company. Thanks Redemption Cannabis. Plus the more. Those are our current sponsors, and as a result,
starting in May, show evolves.
Something very exciting to look out for these on location broadcasts won't be so rough.
Yeah. Jamie gets breast implants. Very exciting.
All types of shit.
He's already got, oh no.
Oh man, if we decide to broadcast some morning from France, we just zip out there and do it now. That's how our show is.
I like this.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Jazz Cabbage Cafe. We'll probably be back in the studio just to have normal sound, to see what that feels like. For a while. And we'll come out with better production quality very soon. Goodbye, everybody. Happy 420 Jazz Cabbage Cafe.